How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to the New York Islanders franchise mode here in NHL 25, moving into episode number 34 for the 2033 draft and off season. As we begin our 10th year here on Long Island, we'll now be having 2 episodes per season as opposed to the usual 4 episodes as we start to think about the eventual wrap-up of this series. So instead of it being off season, season part 1, season part 2, and playoffs, year number 10 will be off season, followed by next episode, which will be the entirety of the regular season, and fingers crossed, the postseason. After that, years 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, the next 5 episodes, will then be the entirety of the season in one episode. And then from year 15 onward, we can probably do some live streams, something like that. Still trying to work it out, but there's a little update of where we are for this franchise mode series. Now let's get back into it. As in the last one, we had to run the gauntlet, and sadly, we fell early. It was a round 1 loss against Austin Matthews, Matvei Michkov, and the Philadelphia Flyers as they took us down in a 6-game round 1 series. The Flyers then went on to beat the Devils, the second best team in the NHL, but then fell to the Panthers, who went on to win the Stanley Cup. So you know what? Kudos to the Flyers. They beat the number 1 and number 2 teams in the NHL as we were atop the league with our 62-16-4 season, 3 consecutive President's Trophies here on the island, and our first 60-plus win in franchise history. But sadly, we fell in round 1 as the scoring dried up outside of the usual veteran scoring. Brock Boeser, 6 goals and 9 points in 6 games. Bo Horvat, 3 goals, 7 points in 6 games. These guys are in their late 30s now. So you know the future of this team won't have Boeser, Horvat, Barzal, etc. But the veterans are still here and they are still producing at outrageous paces. So while we're not moving on from them yet, we do have to start thinking about the future of this franchise and managing the ice time of our veterans. Guys like Matty Barzal likely into a third-line role for next season and so on. For the goaltending, we ran with Lockdown Loktionov, who ended up going 2-3-1 in the first round, a .900 save percentage and 2.99 goals against average, as the 79 overall grew to an 87 overall. Will that overall stick? I don't know, but he won the Calder, the Vezina, and the Jennings with his 8 shutout rookie season, .927 save percentage, 2.15 goals against average. Lockdown Loktionov was one of the greatest stories, if not the greatest story, of this franchise mode series so far. And aside from that, the rest of the scoring you can see here as we scroll down. Big disappointments, guys like Matty Barzal, just 2 points, -2 in 6 games. Cole Yzerman, 0 goals, 1 assist, and a -2. His 1 assist came on the live sim when we jumped in, but in the slow sim, 0 points. And that's after being tied for the team leading points in the regular season with 92 in 78. So Yzerman was definitely a disappointment. And the rest of the list down there. Oliver Kapanen, don't get me started. 0 points and a -4 in 4 games as he missed games 1 and 2 due to injury. But another guy who scored, on the season? 86 points and then 0 and 4, -4. So there's a lot that didn't go right, sadly. We knew it was always going to be a tough postseason, and it most certainly was. But now we got to start thinking about our 10th season here on the island, trying to capture what would be a 3rd cup in 6 years. And we keep saying it, but who knows? Could it be the last season for Horvat and or Boeser and or Barzal? Who knows when retirement might come? So moving into this episode, very exciting possibilities, as there is an exceptionally deep draft class here in 2033. If we sort by potential, I pinned a lot of players. We see a lot of guys, mostly goalies here with the medium league potential. Maybe we'll get one of those guys, but really like a ton of low elite guys who are definitely draftable in the drafting range in the 50s, 60s. Tons of medium top 6 potential forwards. A really surprising amount of low top 6 forwards, more than I can ever remember seeing in recent drafts. And then on top of that, even a fair amount of medium top 4D, low top 4D, a ton of low top 4D. So we want to make sure that we are stocking the cupboards with prospects. We're ready for the next 5 to 10 plus years of this franchise mode, even though we're going to be going through things a bit more quickly. And perhaps we're cycling out some of our more stagnating prospects in our system and then replacing them, even though it's going to hurt Bridgeport probably, replacing them with guys who will draft and have in the system in 1 to 2 to 3 years from now. And finally, before we look at the comments left by the AGMs in the last one, we also need to consider some major extensions in this offseason. Martone, Boeser, Barzal, and Hornquist all expiring, and guys who we think that we're going to be re-signing, right? Alex Tuch, we got him at the deadline. We'll probably be letting him walk unless something really crazy changes. And that's about it. We have to think about, are we keeping Nazarov, another guy who's an RFA? We do have over $31.5 million to spend, but for, like Martone wants 8 by 22.4, which makes 0 sense. So I'll have to qualify those guys and figure them out. But for Besser and Barzal, both of their asks right now are pretty reasonable. So we'll see what the AGMs have to say about that. So we'll start off with Patches or Lev in the comments who said, "Hey Data, great video as always. A rough playoffs, especially when we have done so well in the past years. As someone who has only had one Stanley Cup in my history of NHL franchise modes, which I got yesterday, congratulations, you just have to move on from the failure and keep your head high." Hey, we've done that before. As for the offseason, I already mentioned moving Bates to right D. Yes, George Bates going from left D to right D. Thank you for your response. No problem. Happy to do so. But also some other suggestions. Porter Martone, I agree with qualifying him. He's asking for way too much money for 8 years. Next, Brock Besser, send the $7 million right now that he's asking for. He's definitely worth it. Matty Barzal, send that $4.75 million deal right away. He's also definitely worth that money. Alex Tuck, let him walk. Hornquist, kind of a hot take, but I say give him the $7 million he's asking for 3 years. Rarely does a young defenseman ask for such a low price in late franchise mode. We got to keep into consideration it's 2033 in EA NHL franchise mode, so defense are going to be asking for way more than they should be getting. You don't have to put a clause on it either, so if he does not grow, you can potentially trade him. True. Hakana, although disappointing for this season, I believe Hakana is probably the second-line center of this team. Horvat is going to diminish, and this is a perfect time for Hakana to slot into that number 2 center role so he can prove himself to you and the assistant AGMs. I believe in him. For Kevin and Alexeev, disappointing. Kevin cannot score, which he needs to do, and Alexeev is not that guy. I dare make a bold claim, but I say trade them. We need another guy who can score goals on this team, and they are not it. Maybe look around the league for a young sniper to pick up, or look in the free agency, or even an RFA to pick up. For unsigned players, Marchment and Platt, yeah, we saw those guys. Maybe even trade Korobov and McBride, just a thought. We'll see what value we need to use for picks. For Gervais Chouinard, trade him as well. The D-core is set, and he could serve as a good piece in a trade since we're not using him. So the forwards would be Yzerman, Kapanen, and Martone on the first line, a new young sniper on the second line with Hakana and Besser. Third line, pricing, Horvat, Barzal. Fourth line, free agent, Arcuri, Summers. Defense stays the same, but Engqvist and Sandin switch spots on the second and third pair. And overall, it was a tough season, and I hope I gave you a lot to think about. You did. Once again, great video as always, Data, and thank you for the content. Let's go, Isles. Thank you, Lev. Appreciate those thoughts. And you know what? I gotta say, deep down in my mind, I've been thinking about those same things with the potential trades. Now, this comment wasn't the only one to say maybe we should think about moving out Kevin, but here's what I gotta say about him. We just gave him his new extension, which is about to kick in this next season, and it's 5 years at $7.350. Now, he has always been, through his 2 years with us, a third-line guy. He's been getting third-line ice time and still scoring at a 55-plus point pace, even though he's getting between 13.52 and 14.01 of ice time. Next season, guaranteed, Kevin is a top 6 forward. Barzal's moving down. Kevin, no matter what, is getting top 6 minutes. We acquired him for a big price tag. Ethan Belchetz, who had just won the Calder Trophy not long ago. Kevin was dying for ice time in Calgary. He put up 51 points in 10:34 over with the Flames. So I really want to see what he can do with top 6 minutes. And worst case, even when his modified no trade clause kicks in on July 1st, even if he falls apart in the start of this next 2033-34 season, he's still tradable to 3 teams. If it was a full no move clause, we'd have to make a decision right now, but he would still be tradable, albeit to 3 teams, and I say let's at least give him the chance there. He is a sniper, so maybe we tell him to shoot a bit more over the offseason focus, but I don't want to go out and get a different young sniper when Kevin is already here. Will we end up trading him because he doesn't work out? Possibly, but let's give him that chance. He's already here. He won't have to be acquired. The storyline works out. Let's give him his chance in his 3rd season as an Islander. For Alexeev, I'm kind of in the same boat of let's hang on a second. He's still on his entry-level contract. He's not costing a lot of money at all. So if he was really struggling and taking up tons of money on a roster spot, that would be a different story. But for an 85, he was just an 86 overall, and with the understanding that he too will be a top 6 forward within a couple of years once guys like Besser and Horvat are gone, I'm not in a big rush to move him. 29 points in his rookie season was certainly underwhelming, but I like those attributes. 4-star shooting, 90 passing as a 2-way forward, 4.5-star defense. I want to see what Alexeev has before we feel pressured to move him out. So great thoughts, and we'll certainly keep them in mind. That would be my response to that suggestion. And we'll also take a peek at this tome of a comment from Sam, outdoing himself with a 3-part, even a PS part 4, massive chain of comments, leaving thoughts on the postseason and the offseason ahead. I'm going to jump to just a few parts of it. As Sam mentions, for what's next now for the franchise itself, I think we need to approach this offseason with a distinctive mentality, 1 or 2 steps back to get 5 or 6 steps forward. Taking a year as our vets begin to decline, Besser and Barzal more specifically, and making a bunch of moves to better set up for the longer-term future. I'm not saying to tank, but maybe we reduce the vets' ice time, even the captains, to get a better idea of how our future core sims together at the high end, giving them more ice time than they might have earned to see what we've got going forward. So for example, maybe Besser is struggling a little bit, we put him on the third line with Barzal, and then Alexeyev gets some top 6 time and we see what he can do. From there, we use this season and trade deadline to make the necessary moves to fill the holes we see from our experimentation. Of course, though, if we want to try and push for one more cup, then I fully respect that. I just know that we'll need to take that step back at some point to keep moving forward. Very well said. That step will come eventually. Is it right now? Maybe. If the vets start to decline and we want to do that for the ice time, that's no problem. But if they continue to sim at the ridiculous pace that they have been simulating at, then all for it. Let's go get another cup. Absolutely. And I'm not saying that we won't get a cup without those veterans in the top 6, but what will their roles be? That's going to be up to them. But what will their roles be? That will entirely be up to them. I'm not going to preemptively put them down. I'm going to leave them in the top 6, and it's up to them to show us how they can continue to simulate into 2033-34. Sam also talks about the off-season focuses, so Martone, we're going to ask him to shoot more, Hakana, defensive stats, or maybe his face-offs as well, Engqvist, boosting adaptability so we can move him from being a defensive defenseman to a two-way D, and as for others, we can talk about maybe Barzal, physicality, Besser, Horvat, same, also skating seems to go down for the older players, so we'll look at that for them, and also potential trades. First, we could leverage Nazarov's value if we move him out. He's a tough one, as he's, an 80 overall at 22, getting 4th line minutes. It's a tough one, but if you use his value at maybe some sort of package, then that gets us an extra 2nd-round pick, let's say. So that's an idea. Then the hard part, says Sam, with both Bates and Gervais Chouinard needing ice time, NHL ice time, to grow, I think it's time to move out Rasmus Sandin. He's been such a trooper for the organization, and we have all the respect in the world for him, but he's slowly becoming the odd man out here on Long Island. Especially that he deserves better than being a 7th D at his overall, absolutely, I agree. And we have all these defensemen in need of ice time. It hurts to suggest this, but I think it would be doing right by the player and clearing out our logjam at D. It would mean giving Engqvist top 4 minutes guaranteed, but maybe that'll help him grow in overall, who knows? So because of the reasons listed above, I think moving Sandin out for a 2nd in this draft plus extra is the right move. Like with Vince Dunn and Ryan Pulock a few off-seasons ago, if you love something, let it go. So I'll stop there on Sam's chain of comments. Thank you so much for the incredible level of detail that you put into those comments to help us here in the offseason, benefiting all of the AGMs. When it comes to Rasmus Sandin, I gotta say, yes, he's getting older, and yes, he does kind of feel as the odd man out if you look at Gervais Chouinard and you think about Bates as well in the system, who had full-time NHL minutes this year, 78-23 low elite. But you know what? I don't know if I feel pressured to say we have a 78 who's 23, we have a 79 who's 23. Are we going to move out an 84? Yes, who's 33, but making $4.25 million in this economy, in this franchise mode economy, just to get them more ice time? I think I would rather demote Sandin to 3rd pair, not to 7th D. Keep playing him as a full-timer. Engqvist and Hornqvist are going to be the 2nd pair. Sandin and whoever, whether it be Gervais Chouinard or Bates, is on the 3rd pair. And then one of those two moves out, allowing Bolduc to stay as 7th D. Because there's no way that we can have Gervais Chouinard and Bates both play without moving out Rasmus Sandin. However, Sandin has been, as Sam's comment said, a trooper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, parts of 7 seasons here on Long Island, 2 Stanley Cup champions, and still 1 more year at $4.25 million. If he has to leave after next year, I understand, depending on what he's asking for as a contract. But for right now, I'm not so moved by either Gervais Chouinard or Bates to say that Sandin must move out so that the fringe NHLer can get the ice time. Could they become good NHLers in the future? Absolutely. Would I want to get them ice time? Yes. Are there a ton of options in our system? Not that many. But I'd rather use pieces, a trade, a free agent signing, or something in a couple of years, rather than push out Sandin preemptively for a guy who might be stuck at 78, 79 for his whole career, because we know how growth with defensemen works in franchise mode. In the real world, I 100% get the reasoning, but in franchise mode world, I'm not convinced that either of those low elite guys will ever grow even to be 80 plus overall. And therefore, I'd prefer to keep Sandin, even if we demote him to the third pair defense. So those are my thoughts on the AGM comments. There are some other ones that I replied to, as always, in the comments, but those are the main things that I want to highlight at the beginning of this episode. So first and foremost, we will indeed send out the offers to Besser and Barzal. We'll wait on the RFAs. But for Brock Besser, we're happy to give him another one-year deal with the full no-move clause. We want him to stay long-term here. Crazy that we got him on, like, what, a four-year deal, 4 or 5 year deal when he first started here. And he has become like one of the greatest Islanders in franchise history, right? So we can get him for 1 year at, let's see, 6.85. Let's not play around. 1 year, $7 million on Brock Besser with a full no-move clause, taking a bit of a pay cut, understandably. He knows that he's getting older. He knows that his ice time's going to have to start going down a little bit. But 1 year, $7 million, and who knows how he simulates, right? We saved $3 million on him, and hopefully he will return to the probably middle six of the lineup. For Matty Barzal, who is hopefully going to be a lifer here on Long Island, if we get him down to, what did we say, 4.75? Even 4.65? 4.7. 1 year, 4.7 with a full no-move clause on Matty Barzal, that would be great. So with those two guys signed, that would still leave us with still just under 20 million, I think. I think we'd still be in a very good spot. So we'll see what Besser and Barzal have to say after the draft, but first and foremost, it is draft time. So for this draft, as we mentioned, there are a lot of prospects that we want to target, maybe cycling out some prospects as well, guys who we aren't as convinced in for the future. And let's see where that brings us. Our first pick is going to be at number 28, so I don't see us trading up for any selections. If anything, we're trading down, but I wouldn't mind just simming to 28 and then taking some timeouts and trying to just make all of our deals at once. So if we sim pick one, just want to see that 83 overall medium elite center power forward. Oh my goodness, going to the Kings. The Rangers, that's great. Getting an 82 overall medium elite. 83 overall medium elite power forward. Crazy strong. 82 overall going to Utah. Winnipeg getting a medium top 6. Ouch. They needed someone really good. Winnipeg fell apart and they miss out on all the 8. Don't tell me the next guy's going to be like an 82. Oh, yeah! Oh, no, it's a defenseman, but still, 81 overall medium elite. That is brutal for the Jets. And then a high top 9 grinder to the Capitals. Oh, my goodness. Okay, Clapperton, classic. All right, let's go to the pick number 28 now, and we'll call some of those timeouts. So let's call a couple of these, and I'll work on some deals. I've been workshopping a few things in my mind, but now we got to see what kind of value teams are actually interested in acquiring or moving out. So here's there was that Italian defenseman. Yes, Henry. Bennett Henry, 79 overall at 17, but probably going to be stuck there for the rest of his career. Medium top 6 forwards, blah, 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 top 9s. The end of the first round is so weak, and the start of the second is incredibly strong. So we could use pick 28 to take a guy that we want in like the early 30s. Yeah, none of these guys are of interest. But Hrdina's the first guy that we'd be looking at here. Andre Hrdina, 6'3", 18-year-old, 3 years away, low elite potential gem. There's also Fred Bodie, 2 years away, left D, two-way D, 6'4", two-way D. He's interesting too. And then after that, it's all the top 6s. So I pinned some of them, but all of these are of interest to me. It's a whole screen of top 6s. So I'd probably say let's trade down to the mid-30s, recoup a late pick as well, and see what else we can do to get another second. So we can get at least 2 of these top 6 forwards or top 4 Ds. Hrdina is interesting, but if it comes down to using our pick for a low elite or getting a medium top 6 plus like a 5-year away low elite with pick 200 or something, I'd probably be more interested in that. So let me try crafting the first pick here, the first trade I should say, and we'll see if Utah's interested in anything. So Utah, what do you say here? If I give you 28 for 35 and you throw in 163, trade accepted. Great. All right, so there's a free 6th round pick. Hrdina was interesting, don't get me wrong, but a free 6th round pick in this draft class that is worth passing on the low elite who's 3 years away and taking one of the medium top 6s who are 2 years away. And I wasted all of our timeouts. Hey, I took all those timeouts for nothing. I wanted to make all the trades at once. Okay, so let's see. The Utah Hockey Club, Mammoth, they take a medium top 9. And the rest all medium, top 9, medium, top 60. Second round, top 9, top 9. Okay, so now here we are with pick 35. Let me take another 2 timeouts and not blow it this time. So the Jets want to trade their pick, but the Jets need their picks. It doesn't make sense they want to trade it. Maybe Washington would make sense. Let's see if we can do a trade with them. To get pick 38, what could I trade you? I wonder, Gervais Chouinard versus Bates. Who are we keeping of these two guys? Gervais Chouinard is already a right side D, which is helpful. Bates is a left who we want to transition to a right. He was a 79, he dropped to a 78. Offensive defenseman whose rookie season saw him score 10 points and be a plus 18 in 82 games. That wasn't bad at all, playing 14:37 of ice time. In the playoffs, 1 point, -1. He's an offensive defenseman, which is super interesting. You never know how these guys might have crazy jumps in overall. It might be the shooting that's holding him up a little bit. Really strong shooting accuracies. 3-star puck skills, 2.5-star physical. The defense at 3 stars. I'm not saying he couldn't do anything, but Gervais Chouinard as a 6'5" two-way D is very tempting as well. He's more well-rounded. The last pick of the 2029 draft, Bates we spent a first-round pick on. So as much as Gervais Chouinard might be the better defenseman, I don't think either of them have a great chance of growing, but Bates might have the better chance of growing. So I think it would be Gervais Chouinard moving out here to Washington. And then what other prospects could we throw into this deal here? Maybe Simard, but they don't want Simard. Hold on, who do they want? Maybe this is where Nazarov goes? 80-22. I was hoping for him being a future guy in our top 9. The 87 shooting accuracy. Could he do one more year of being a trooper? And then after that, we can get him in the top 9 once there's more space with guys retiring and everything? I don't know. It might be too much of a stretch. I mean, but the thing is, at the same time, his trade value is already as low as it's going to get. So waiting another year is not going to do much there. Tuck doesn't want to get moved. So no, it would have to be someone who they're not super interested in. So that probably would be Simard. Pascal Simard. 73-22. We got him in a trade from Buffalo a few, 2-3 years ago, could it be? Yeah, 3 years in Bridgeport now. Hoping that he could be a future maybe third-line center, and he hasn't really grown in those 3 seasons as an Islander now. So if we move him out, 73 with top 6 potential, yeah, this is a good deal for the Caps. Could we get back a second, as well as 6th at 166? Still not super interested. Huh, that's too bad, because they don't want Simard. That's the problem. Let's try just 198 then. Still rejected. Okay, second straight up. Just the second trade accepted. Thank you. So Gervais Chouinard and Simard off to the Washington Capitals for pick 38. That now allows us to pick at 35 and 38. That's great news. If we want another second round pick, maybe it'll be the Rangers, the Flames, one of those teams. Now, what other value can we move out here? We could also, let's look at Calgary. Would Calgary want a goalie? We have an excess of goalie prospects we had mentioned. If Calgary wants one of these goalies, we could do it right here. Sorry, looking at goalies. Yes, Sasaki was the guy that I thought would probably be the excess. 60-19, 64-20, 72-22. Because next year the goalies in the AHL, Ackerman would be the starter. Sasaki would be stuck as the backup. I'd rather have Rafalski as the backup, 64-20. Sasaki definitely has value. Joaquin Sasaki. 5th round pick from Canada. Yes, the Canadian, 22 years old. 2 years in Bridgeport now. Sadly, somebody's got to go. So if we trade Sasaki for a second, that might just happen straight up. Sasaki for a second. So 3 second-round picks would be what we do in the second round. That's it. 3 would be enough. Hey, a second and a 7th. Awesome. Okay. So a second and a... So we have 3 of those second-round picks. I think that makes sense before we start cheesing things and we have 8 second-round picks. I think 3 seconds makes sense for what we're trying to do here. So let's start making these picks then. So our first selection, we're not going to get all the guys that we want, but our first selection, Hrdina's still here as well. Oh, that was a great idea to trade down. I forgot about that. He was ranked 36. Bodie is still here. Hrdina is still here. Or do we go with Stromberg, Jelena, center left-wing sniper, Marcel Jelena, 3 years away, similar to Rick Nash, but these other guys are all 2 years away. Michel Giroux, 17-year-old who's 2 years away, love that. Lubomir Vanek, Timo Tukkanen, 2 years away, all 2 years away. So, how are we going to play this here? So maybe the low elite sniper goes first. Hrdina, 6'3" sniper, 3 years away. All right, Andre Hrdina, you're my first guy here at 35. Welcome to Long Island, 66 overall, low elite, center sniper. Let's go. Very good. Nothing really stands out at this point, but I wonder how the growth will unravel. So Bodie goes next to Winnipeg. The Avalanche get Stromberg. Okay. Now with our next pick at 30, what is it now, 38? Yes, now at 38. I don't think we'll take Jelena. I'm leaning more Giroux. I already went through and pinned guys. Vanek as a center is tempting. 6'1", 200 pounds, 2 years away at 18, power forward and everything. But at the same time, it's a tough call. We pick again later. And with that next pick, we'll get Tukkanen, Sador. So you know what? We'll take... We just took a center. Tough call. Also, this guy, Justice Sexsmith. The scouts have him with a little star next to him. Hodges, the Croatian. That's great to have for the nationalities. Michel Giroux, 5'11", potentially a two-way forward, 2 years away. B, B, B minus, then CCC. Vanek, B, B minus, B minus, C, B, C. Tukkanen, playmaker, 6'1", 17. The 17-year-old who's 2 years away really stands out to me, I have to say. I would bet that all these forwards are between 64 and 67 overall. It's just who do you want to go for? So we just took the sniper center. Now let's go for the playmaking winger. Sador and Hodges are also playmaking wingers. Clifford Sador, 2 years away. Evan Hodges, 2 years away. A gem, 5'10" at 18. Sador, 6'2" at 18. Really tough call. Really tough call with a minute left. The scouts have Tukkanen at 38, Giroux at 39. Let's go for Timo Tukkanen from Liga. Welcome to Long Island, Bello. You are 67 overall, medium top 6, right wing playmaker. That is a tough, tough call. All these guys are so similar. It just comes down to who's going to develop. So Jelena was a 66, medium top 6 center sniper. Then Giroux is 67 overall, medium top 6, same as Tukkanen. Giroux, very similar stats there, going to the Canadians. Michel Giroux, yeah, les Canadiens sont contents. Vanek was medium top 6, 67 at 18, center power forward. And then now we pick again here at 42. So after this, our next pick was what, 60, I think? So at 42, do we now take a defenseman like Murray Blake, 3 years away defensive defenseman? Or go back to the well and take another winger playmaker. Sador, 6'2" playmaker on the right side. Hodges, Croatian gem, great storyline. Or even Jukka Harikala, 6'3", 17-year-old defenseman who's 3 years away. Man. And there's also this guy Douglas. I think he's NHL ready. Yes, Ken Douglas, who's NHL ready. But if he is like 79 or 80 overall, what do we do with him? We're already stacked on defense. Or not stacked, but full on defense. Tough call. Even Guy Sauve or Sauve, 17-year-old who's 6'2", medium top 6 sniper who's 3 years away. Man, this is not easy, but we kind of need defense. But will the defensive defenseman grow? Or will it just be a waste of a pick for a guy who stagnates? Because when we look at our defensemen, who do we have pinned in this draft on defense? We have some low top 4s later. But, yeah, there's Finnerty, 6'4" at 17, 3 years away. Terry Finnerty could be interesting on that right side as well. I'm between Sador and Sauve. 6'2", 18, playmaker on the right side, 2 years away. Or the 17-year-old who's 3 years away, 6'2" on the left. B shooting already, then C and C minus everything else. While Sador, B, B, B minus, C, C, C. We have Kevin and Martone maybe on that right side. Guy Sauvé, bienvenue à l'équipe. Let's go, Guy. 63 overall, medium top 6. Not the 67 that these other guys might be. But for a left-wing sniper who's 17 and 6'2", it's hard to teach size, right? So Guy Sauvé, bienvenue à l'équipe. Let's cross our fingers for him. Sabres then take Blake, who was medium top 4, 65. Hodges was medium top 6, 67. Sador, medium top 6, 67. Yeah, to the Canadians, who also have Giroux, who they just got. Harikala was medium top 4D, 65 overall. At pick 47, do we want to trade with the Senators? Or are we content with getting picks later on? We can't get all second-rounders. But there's also Douglas. Douglas. Do we want a guy who might be stuck at 80 forever? At the end of the first round, never. But A+ physical already? A- shooting? Who is this? As a defensive defenseman? Or just the shot power, probably. I don't know. He might even be higher than 80 overall. Could be one of those crazy gems you see in the subreddit sometimes. No one else wants to trade. If the Senators want to trade with us, I'll take Douglas for our first defenseman of the draft. If they want to trade, they don't want 60. What else can we move out here? What else? What other stagnating value do we have here? Timonen 76-23, 61-21 Trainer, Frederick Trainer, undrafted guy we got. Okay, maybe Frederick Trainer then. Timonen and Trainer for 47. Low elite potential, 3 years left. He could have some kind of growth, who knows. The Senators want to trade their pick. What do you say, Ottawa? Okay, trade accepted, thank you very much. Moving out that excess value, and let's go get Ken Douglas from Denmark. Other tempting guys here for sure, but we got to get some defense in this system. Ken Douglas from the SHL, 18 years of age, and 81 overall. Okay. Maybe I'm overreacting, but it's not like it's 85. But 81 with an X factor at 47th overall. Yes, 88 shot blocking, 87 stick checking, 3.5-star skating. Not like, classic. I mean, well, the opposite of the classic. It's not a 2-star skating defensive defenseman. You know what? Ken Douglas might be a guy. And he's 81 overall, but we could still do 1 year unsigned or 1 year in the AHL. Despite the overall, he just got drafted out of the second round. Hold your horses. Okay, so let's sim to the next round. Wow, wow, wow. Oh no, I made a big mistake. I just made a big mistake. I'm very sorry. We had pick 60, and I just simmed to pick 65. I thought it was in the next round. Okay, who did we get? Douglas. Then Sexsmith went. Halpern. Who else? Jorgensen. Potolny was low elite. Brunstrom. Del Rio. Who did we get here? We got... Hey, Bulbrook! Actually, I think that's the guy that I wanted. Did I have him? Jermaine Bulbrook. 5'11", playmaker. We could always trade him, though, if we don't want him. Goalie. Donald I wasn't going to take for sure. So we could either keep Bulbrook... or we trade him to Chicago and select who we actually would have taken. And maybe that would have been Stamkos, Julian Stamkos. 3 years away, power forward. Or we took even Jason Cook, 3 years away, low top 6 gem. No, the low elite's the guy. Thank goodness. Wow, thank goodness. Julian Milson, 3 years away. A shooting. No, I misread that. B shooting. Mathers, low top 6, low top 6, low top 6, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm happy with who we took. I was also interested in James Mann, 17-year-old, low top 6 potential. We could call him Dr. Mann from Interstellar. Our next pick is where, though? At 77? Now let's wait till 77. Why am I saying offer trade? Let's wait till 70. I already made a lot of our trades. I don't think we have much else to do. We use our picks now. Let's do something we really want to trade up for. Hey, man, just went. Come on. All right, so with pick 77 now, in round 3, and of course it drops off now, but we could trade down. Maybe Franzen, Frederick Franzen, low top 6, 3 years away. Playmaking winger. We have a lot of these playmaking wingers, though. I keep saying winners, wingers. Low top 6 sniper, Tristan Trevelyan, 4 years away. Finnerty, defensive defense. We wanted Finnerty, right? Yeah, we wanted Finnerty. So maybe we trade down to 90 and try to get Finnerty. So Minnesota, can I give you 77 for 90 and 154? A third for a third and a fifth? No, that's ridiculous. The game would never do that. I'll give you 202 from Calgary. You give me 186 of yours. Okay? I get to move up a little. You get to move up a little. We're both happy. Great. The Wild take low top 6. Franzen, that's who we were thinking about. Great. And then, no thank you, Seattle. Then with pick number 90, we'll take the defenseman, Finnerty. Yes, all right. Terry Finnerty, 6'4", 17-year-old who's 3 years away. Love to see that. And again, not the E-skating. So, welcome to Long Island from the USA Central. 63 overall, low top 4 defensive defenseman with 2-star skating. But at this point in the draft, that's a bit more understandable. 2-star skating, but everything else is pretty much 2-star as well. The E is what we want to avoid when it comes to the skating. Next pick is 124. There's Trevelyan. Do we want to wait till 124? Who do we have pinned between now and then? There is Mueller. Georg Mueller, offensive defenseman who's 4 years away. Okay. Some of those goalies, aside from the goalies, there's also Peltola, medium top 6, Marco Peltola, 17 years old, 6'5" power forward. I would like him. It would be a trade with Dallas to try and get Mueller. Do we do that? You want 124. We have 3/6. I'd give you 124. And how about 220? A fourth and a seventh for a third? Okay. A gift horse in the mouth. Thank you very much. A fourth and a seventh. If that's the cost, I'm happy to do it. If it's more than that, it's not worth it. But if that's the cost, great. Is it George Mueller? Named after the incredible evangelist who had thousands of orphans. If you know, you know. Look it up. George Mueller. All right. From Germany. That's a surprise of a pick, but we got him. 61 overall, low top 4 offensive defenseman. Who knows how many of these guys will hit, but we're restocking the shelves here. And now we pick at 135, but if we want Peltola, we'll have to make another trade up. Let's sim through the Canadians pick. It would have to be a trade for one of these picks. All 3 of those first picks are all up for grabs. Peltola's out there at 102. There's also this guy, but if we were ever able to get him, so 97, 98, 99, maybe let's trade, say 100 from the Red Wings. Then Detroit's over the salary cap, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. Trading for draft picks and they're over the salary cap. Yeah. So it'd be Columbus now. What do you say? 5th and a 6th for a 4th and 2 7ths? No, so there's a 4th and a 7th to get pick 210. Thank you very much. I will gladly do that. At pick 101, is he still out there? No, thank you, Boston. Yes, he is. Good picks for these guys. All 4 of the first picks of the 4th round, are all low top 6 forwards. We'll go ahead and take the medium top 6 forward, Marco Peltola, 6'5", 17-year-old out of Liga, 53 overall, medium top 6. Thank you very much. Next pick now at 163 with our last 2 or 3 picks, whatever it was, I think 3 picks. Now we'll just take our guys. So we might miss a few. Let's see, anyone pinned between now and then? There was Conan, medium top 4D, 19-year-old, 5 years away. We could survive without him. We already took some defense. And then we could get one of these goalies. Yeah, so let's just sim to our pick then. No problem. Sim to pick 163. At pick 163, we could take one of those goalies. We have a lot of goalies in our system, so there's like 4 that we could take, but I'll just say let's take maybe 1. We pick 3 more times. So 163, I think I said saw 168 as well. At 163 of the goalies, or who else is pinned here? We could just take, yeah, they're all the goalies. We can wait on anybody else. So this is where we'll take our goalie. Nygren, Voros, Kravchenko, or Minard. So this guy's 17, 5 years away, 17, 5 years away, 19, 5 years away, 18, 5 years away, but a gem. A+ league, C- league, A+ league, only played 1 game. Kind of leaning Voros, maybe. They're all 6'1", 6'3". Tough call. They're all pretty much in the same range. It's between Menard and Voros in my mind. Voros, he's shorter, but he's a year younger. I mean, they're both maybe 5+ years away even. So you know what, Leonardo? Let's do it. Welcome to Long Island. You'll be the one joining us in the system. They're all going to be 48 overall, I bet. So he's 48 overall, medium elite. Kravchenko is 53, but he's 19. Who else? Let's see the other goalies here, if anyone else will be taken. Nygren was 47 medium elite, and Voros 47 medium elites. So you know what? For the guy who's 48, it doesn't really change much, but I don't know, the numbers just spoke to me a bit more. Kravchenko is better, but a year more developed. Let's sim all the way to 186 now, with our last couple selections in this draft, which I'm very pleased with. I don't think we cheesed anything. I think we've stockpiled our picks. We've waited for this draft. We knew that it was coming. We traded out some value to get more. I'm content. So our last guys are in the 300s. Who's it going to be? Probably the offensive defenseman. Probably Easton Frowey's 20 though. I didn't realize he was 20, so probably unpin him. Joseph and Tunanovs will be our last 2 guys. So Florida, can I give you a 6th now and a 7th next year for a 7th now and a 5th next year? So swapping 7ths and then a 6th upgrades to a 5th for you moving up to 186 right here, right now. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll use our last 2 picks here in the 7th round, and then next year, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 2 5ths, and a 6th for the 2034 draft. Okay, I don't mind that little piece of business. Bottom 6er, great for Florida. Pick 210, we'll take the first of our 2 guys who we have pinned. That would be, who's the higher one? Sergei Punanov's 19-year-old 2-way D, low top 4D. Who knows what happens with him? 59 overall. And with pick number 224, unless there's anybody else who really stands out to us who I forgot to pin, 2-bar medium elite, 2-bar medium top 6. There is a low top 6. Yeah, we saw. There's Ferraro. Low top 4D, Gene Joseph. There's also Kapitanov, but he's 20. So no, Gene Joseph is our guy, 18-year-old, who is an offensive defenseman even. Awesome. Gene Joseph, welcome team. 51 overall, low top 4. It was a busy draft, ladies and gentlemen, but don't think that, oh, no, we have too many players. No, we traded out a lot of players. Herdina, Tukinen, Sauvé, Douglas, Bulbrick, Finnerty, Mueller, Peltola, Menard, Punanovs, and Joseph, all the newest members of the New York Islanders here in this busy 2033 draft class. Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. Now, let's advance a day and see what Besser and Barzal had to say about those contract offers. Lee Sogus needs a new contract. Richard Modry might be hard to re-sign. We'll do that in a moment. Same for the Scouts. We'll go do that. Let's see. Matty Barzal rejects the offer. The salary is too low for me. Okay, goodbye. And Brock Besser says the same thing, even though the interest was so high. Okay, so hopefully now that we've gone to the re-sign phase, that doesn't make them want 10 plus million. Let's see. So, looking at all expiring, starting with the UFAs, Brock Besser, he was in that 1 year, 7 million range. Now he wants 9.1 for 2 years. So, if I give you the full no move clause for 1 year, he wants close to, he's talking still 9 million. Yeah, so we got to pay up. Actually, no, we can bring it down and it's still the same level of interest. Okay, so we could probably do, instead of 1 year, 9 million, it might be 1 year, sorry, instead of 1 year, 7 million, it's probably 1 year, 8.25, which is probably a bit more reasonable for a guy who just had a crazy season like him. And Matty Barzal, we were going to get him at 1 year, 4.7. Now he wants 1 year, 6.5. So that's the problem here in franchise mode world. 5.85 is probably what we have to get him for. Again, it's reasonable, but it's crazy that it changes so much over the course of 24 hours. So I'm going to take care of the coaches and the scouts. I'm going to re-sign the easy ones. All these guys down here, all these prospects who will sign on immediately, I'll sign them all, no problem. And for the RFAs, let's see, does Martone want anything different? He is now thinking more reasonably. Very good. And for Hornqvist, who wanted 7 million, 4 by 6.7, way more reasonable. Awesome. So I'm going to take care of everything off screen, and then we'll get back with the more serious ones. Okay, so we have $31.62 million to play with. Starting off with Brock Besser. If we do the 1 year with a full no move, we could get him down to, what did we say, potentially? Something around the 8.5 range? Maybe even just a tad lower. Where's that last tick get to? I think it's 8.4. Could I be right? Yeah, it looks like 8.4. After that, it drops a little bit. So, 1 year, 8.4 million. That would bring us down to 23.22. So, Brock Besser, will send him that. Let's see what he says. I'll get back to you tonight about your offer. Thank you very much. Now, the next, before we go to Matty Barzal, I want to go over to Porter Martone. Now, for Porter Martone, the 7 by 13.5 is great. I really want to go for that 8th year, though. I don't know if we're going to be doing the franchise mode that long, but in theory, for a 26-year-old who's a first-line pillar, we would want to get the benefit of that 8th year since we have him under our team control. So 8 years at whatever is going to be what we try on July 1st. So right now, I will qualify Porter Martone with the understanding that it's going to cost us about, let's say, 13 million. So that brings it down to 10.22. With that last 10.22, we have to sign Barzal and Hornqvist, then other pieces as well. But Hornqvist, I'm very impressed that he wants the 4 by 6.7. If we go to 5 years and then just throw in a 1 year no move clause, he has full interest at 6.7. So we could get it down even to the 5s maybe. Yeah, 5.75, 5 by 5.75. And that's for 5 years. We're using up, so it's 3 more years of RFA eligibility. Let's not play games. We'll go 2 years into the UFA eligibility with the full no move. If we do a 6th year, then instead of 5.75, it would be 6.25. In franchise mode world, is it worth getting the extra year and we pay him $500K more per season? I think so. I'd lean the 5-year deal, but in franchise mode world, that 6th year will allow us for 1 more season of saving 4 or 5 million instead of paying him 10 million plus. If it was a 7th year, now he wants 8, that's an extra 500K, we're talking about 6.75. So 6 by 6.25 would be really good for us and get us down to just 4 million in cap space. So that is the problem. So we'll do it, but we're going to qualify him and wait. We have to take care of the UFAs first. So back to the UFAs, Matty Barzal. In theory, we have about 4 million left here, so that's a problem. If we go the full no move, which I think we just have to, it's like we can't not sign Matty Barzal. We can get down to maybe 6 million. And then it starts to, 1 year, 6 million would be Matty Barzal's number. So we'll send it to him and we'll see what he says. Alex Tuck, even though he wants like 4 million, we just cannot afford him. So he'll have to definitely walk. We'll wait on the rest of the guys. So let's advance today, see what the coaches and all these guys have to say. Matty Barzal on board, sticking with the team for stability. Great. 1 year, 6 million. Same for Brock Besser. Good news. Frederick Platt on board. Good. Yes. That leaves us with 19.27 million. But we have to keep in mind the money that's going to Porter Martone. So again, if that's 13-ish, that leaves us... if we get him for 13, that leaves 6.27. It's going to be tight. But then we have the UFAs as well here. Still Arcuri and Boldzuk. So Arcuri, to stay on his fourth line center, wants 1 year at 1.725. We could go cheaper. I'm going to have to just wait to see who's available in free agency, I think. Maybe it's Arcuri. We'll come back to him. But right now, we can't sign him for that dollar amount. He's been really good as our fourth line center. Parts of 4 seasons with us. But we just can't do it. So Arcuri, I have to let you walk just for the time being. And for Sam Boldzuk, he wants 3.425. At 7, we can't sign him as 7th D for that. I'd give him a full no-move clause for 2 years, but what does he really want? We can get... No, we can't. Tons of organizational interest, but we just can't afford to pay him that. We'll have to let Sam Boldzuk walk and see what happens in free agency as well. That is a heartbreaker. Oh, that is unfortunate. So... could we do Hornquist now? I don't want to play games as much as possible. If we can do 6 years now, let's do it. 6 years at 6.25 with the no-move clause in years 5 and 6 of his contract. Let's send that and see what he says. Worst case, we'll just have him qualified and we'll take care of it later. So waiting on the scouts. Yeah, Lee Sogus. I like that the role you're offering me. Yeah, you're the head coach, man. So Lee Sogus is back. That's great. The AHL goalie coach is back. Very good. And then other scouts. Yes. And waiting on Hornquist. Yes, I accept your offer to stick with the team. Thanks for the stability. Okay, Thomas Hornquist. That's awesome. 6 years at 6.25. That dollar amount in franchise mode world is great. Leaving us with just over 14 million now for Martone, Nazarov, Bates. So we're going to qualify all these guys and take care of them on July 1st. These guys like Kozlov, Tulipov, we'll probably end up trading them. Let's just qualify them for their rights. Ruzicka, yeah, one big trade for a 7th round pick, I guess. Sepinen, Weidman was okay. And Paulson, maybe we'll use him, maybe we won't. So, unsigned guys. Douglas was the 81 overall. We'll have to wait and see what we do on him. Breland's a 74. Do we put him in the AHL? That'll be an AGM question. Goalies are taken care of, and that's it. All right, we are ready for July 1st. The last thing we've got to figure out is, will our associate coach... Richard Modry, will he want to come back as associate coach, or is he ready to spread his wings and fly as an NHL head coach? So I'll offer you associate coach. I'll offer you the most money that I can offer you. Actually, is there no limit? 9.9. Okay, that's way too much. Our head coach is making 6 million. Just for storyline purposes, it can't be 3 million more than the head coach. So let's try 8x6 as associate coach for Richard Modry. Okay, advance today. What do you say, Richard? Another scout on board. Richard... 1 more day. Don't feel the role is good. Not interested in the job, in this job title. So we could offer him more money to make him stay, but as an A-rated guy, he wants to go be a head coach somewhere else. So let's allow him to do that. Modry, we'll go ahead and release you. Yes. Now allowing Donovan to become our... Sorry, I don't want to fire you. I want to promote you. Donovan can become our associate coach. Congratulations. And then we would need a new NHL assistant coach. Do we promote someone in the AHL? Bochenski or Menino, maybe? B-rated guys. I love the A+ teaching and influence there. The A+, yeah. So we'll probably just sign a new assistant coach from free agency. We'll see. We'll see who's out there. And that's it. Let's get to free agency here. A couple more days, and I'm curious to see what the extensions will look like on July 1st as well. All right. Here we go. Let's check it out. So first things first. July 1st extensions. Who is up for an extension? So Bo Horvat up at 10 point whatever million. Yeah, 12.5. He'll regress. That's no problem. Barzal. Alexeev. Now he's an 85. Maybe now's the time to extend him. 2 years at 3.5. We could go 3 years as an RFA. Then after that, it gets into... I mean, he wants 8 years, 6.5. I'd give him 8 years now. We have to go 8 years at 6.5. We have 40.67 million in extension dollars. 8 by 6.5. I mean, could that be a good gamble, perhaps? A full no-move clause is a bit risky. Modified no trade, we'll give him the 90% just in case something has to happen by then. We could always trade him in years 1 to 4, but then you'd want a little bit more for the less security. No, it's that full no move that makes the whole difference, eh? I mean, it would be only 4 years of a no trade clause. So do we do 3 years as an RFA and then his 8-year deal? I mean, he just had third line minutes. Probably that would make more sense right now. As tempting as the 8-year deal is, let's do the 3-year bridge, because that's more what he'd be interested in. He doesn't know what his abilities are. He wants to prove himself and get paid big time. As tempting as that 6.5 million would be, he thinks that he could make more. So let's try 3x4 as the bridge and go from there. All right, Alexei, 3x4, and we'll see what you got. Rasmus Sandin, will he keep sticking around? Maybe. Wants a bit much, though. He might have to leave after this contract. We'll see. Ulf Engqvist, yeah, he'll want big money, that's for sure. He could do... No, he'd be a UFA. So 3 years, already 6 million. We could do 3 years, 1 more, so 4 more seasons, including this one. Or do we wait to qualify him and use the RFA eligibility? Yeah, that's probably what we end up doing. And now that it's July 1st, can we also get Martone on the 8-year deal, please? He now wants 6 years. Oh, it's because we don't have the money, that's why. So now he doesn't even want the 8 years or the 7 years. He wants 6 years. Yeah, that makes sense. So we'll have to wait on him a little bit to come down. So if we need to free up some money, who would it be from? I mean, there's not a lot of options out here. Unless it is Sandin. Now, Sandin being moved out so that a 78 overall could come in was not of interest to me. But Sandin moving out so that a cheaper defenseman of similar quality could come in, now that would be a possibility. But let's wait and see what Martone's demand ends up being if it comes down a little bit. So here we are for free agency on July 1st. Cale Makar in free agency at 34 years of age. Imagine. Let's look just at the UFA starting by overall. So Cale Makar at 96. Imagine paying him $17 million. Dobson, Sandin Pellikka. Brock Faber. So the top 4 defensemen in overall are all defensemen. How about that? Leo Carlsson, the future of our first-line center. A free agent of the caliber of Leo Carlsson is a guy that we'd go out and sign maybe next offseason when Horvat/Besser/Barzal money frees up. But right now, it just doesn't work for us. So let me send out some offers to the RFAs, and then we'll advance and see what Martone's demands could come down to a little bit. Like Nazarov at 1 year, 1.1 would be great. We could go 2 years and he stays as an RFA, but you know, yeah, 1 year makes sense. So 1 year on Nazarov. Bates will also do... He wants 2 million. But 2 years... There's a UFA. That's the problem. We could go longer term, like 5 years. Imagine. 5 years. He wants 1.4, but then when you go and do it, his interest plummets. So does he want it or not? So I'll take care of the RFAs. Actually, we said we were going to trade some of these guys, eh? Sorry, there's a lot of thoughts going through my head right now. These 4 RFA prospects, some with value, some not so much. Maybe for one so-so prospect. Soderblom. Hey, okay, Soderblom. Elmer Soderblom. We've been thinking about him, actually, in recent years. Maybe not recent years, but at one point we did. Big 6'8" Elmer Soderblom will be our 4th-line center at $1.35 million. Okay, better than 1.75 or whatever. We save a little bit of money, and we bring some big size in onto the 4th line. Okay, we can do that for a year and see what happens. Good, so we get to dump all those RFAs we weren't going to have need for anyways. So now back to the RFAs. I'll send out a few contracts. Yeah, but things are going to be tight for sure. Besser and Barzal costing more than we thought is a big problem. So not really anybody who we're signing there in free agency. Maybe there's a two-way guy with some potential, but first time I looked, I didn't see anybody at a first glance. We're going to wait and see who does what in our system. Let's give them the chance for the ice time. So we'll start advancing a few days. Yes, I think I've done everything I need to do. We'll advance a few days and see what Nazarov says, rejecting the offer at 1.35 that I had sent him. Alexeyev on board that big extension. Awesome. Or big, well, the 3-year bridge. Very good news. And now Martone wants 6 years at 9.8? What? What? Okay. So I will gladly sign Porter Martone at 9.875 for 6 years and lose out 2 years, but save $4 million per season. So we get 2 less years on his contract, which is going to be tough when that day comes. But we get to save $4 million, maybe even plus, over the next 6 years on Porter Martone's contract. Wow, that is a shock. Okay, we're not going to complain though. Does anything change if we go lower? Not even. No, it's even 9, maybe even more. Oh, now where does it go? 9.4 looks like. Let's make it 9.5. 6 by 9.5 with the full no move clause. Yes, Porter, thank you. If you would do this, I'd be very appreciative. That would get us out of a huge jam which just fell from the sky. Porter Martone, 2 less years, but like 4 less million, maybe 4.5 less million. Accepting the offer! Porter Airlines taking off! Wow! Well, that solved our problems relatively quickly. Thank you. We were about to make trades of Rasmus Sandin something. No. Fantastic. That's crazy. So that now leaves us with 5.245 million and just Bates and Nazarov. Whoa. Thank you so much. He wants 2 years instead of 1.7, now 1.125. I'm in a great mood now. Take 2 years take it 1.1. Buy something nice. Accepts it right away. Great. And George Bates, what do you have to say? 1 year at 1.3, that's reasonable. We could go longer, but let's keep him as an RFA, probably. Who knows? Yeah, let's just do the 1 year. Let's not get cute with it. 1 year at 1.3 on George Bates, and he'll get back in a few days. Paulson, Weidman, we'll just wait for the qualifying offers to kick in there. I'm shocked. Porter Martone taking one for the team, ready for an A on his chest, perhaps. And there you go, George Bates on board. Okay, so that takes care of everything. We thought we were going to be about 4.5 million short, but no, we now have 4.87 million in cap space. And even in the extensions, when it comes to guys like, let's say, whatever, Elf Engqvist next offseason, we now have 29.2 million to just have to re-sign the veterans and a couple other pieces. Yes, that really puts us in a great spot. Thank you, Porter Martone. Instead of 14 plus, 9.85. Huge hometown discount, and we will not forget that, Porter. We will not forget that. Now, off-season focuses, I'm going to send out a bunch. Let's see, Martone, shoot more. Horvat, skating, physicality, whatever they're the lowest in. Barzal, physicality. Hakana, face-offs. Just stuff like that. So I'm going to take care of those off screen. Then we'll make sure there's no other free agents we want to sign, and then that'll be the off season. Okay, so now we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in the NHL. Summer's probably in the NHL as well. Maybe Soderblom ends up being 13th forward. Nazarov gets traded. I don't know. But we have our NHL squad. In the AHL, Marchman starting there as 1. And in the system, 2 maybe with Paulson. 3, 4 if Breland comes. No, 4 with Platt. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus maybe some unsigned guys. So we could use like at least 3 or 4 AHL forwards. And then for the defense, we know that we're good on defense in the NHL. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in the system, maybe we can go out and see if Sam Bolzuk is still out there. Or Douglas. But Douglas, he wouldn't want to be 7th D. Who could be our 7th D? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe 1 for a 7th D and 1 for an AHL D. Weidman will probably be the AHL, though. So 1 NHL 7th defenseman with the money that we have left, which is way more than we thought we would have. So if we look even just at affordable players, like guys who are 84 overalls, Alex Tuck out there, everything, wow. So looking at defense, is Bolzuk here? Yes, he is. We would love to bring back Sam Bolzuk. He is a proven commodity. He is a known. So 3 years is a bit long for the 32-year-old. If he'd be willing to go way lower, I could do 3 years. Not that much. No move clause for the 32-year-old? No. We wouldn't be able to. So if we give him a 1-year deal with no clause, he wants still way... no. Let's advance a few days and try to get him for cheaper. Weidman spent some time mulling over the qualifying offer. He's on board. Great. Also, we still need that NHL assistant coach. Now, Back to the defense. Bolzuk still wants a lot of money here. He still wants too much money, honestly. A few options of guys who are all between A and like B- at worst. Cedric Hewson versus Spike Hart. 59% fit, 60% fit. Neither of them really matters that much. Let's start with the generalist. Actually, no, veterans. We have some veterans on this team. Maybe it'll help something with the regression. So, let's try as NHL assistant if he's interested. Spike Hart. Do you think about that, Spike? And we'll advance a few more days, hoping that Sam Boldzuk's ask will come down, and if not, we'll get somebody else. Spike Hart, welcome aboard. New assistant coach for the squad. Noah Dobson's still out here, unsigned. How about that? UFAs, yeah, it's Noah Dobson than everyone else. So on defense, Boldzuk's still out here. He's come down to 2.575, but he still wants a lot of money, I have to say. And now he got signed. There you go. You know what? It wasn't meant to be then. Because we can't give a 3x2+ million deal for a 7th defenseman as much as we love him. Boldzuk ends up signing, let's see, with the Anaheim Ducks for 3x2.545. Good for you, Sammy Boldzuk. You'll go get some ice time over there in Anaheim. The best of luck to you, my friend. A lifer with the Islanders, 555 games played over parts of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 NHL seasons. 25 goals, 84 points, a +94, and of course, a Stanley Cup champion. Sam Boldzuk, we wish you all the best. Second round pick of ours in 2019. What a legend. It was a pleasure and an honor, dare I say, having you. So that leaves the options as anybody over here. Anybody who wants 1 year? Regula? 1 year for him at 850K. Really good stats in the AHL, 50 points and a +19. Hasn't been in the NHL for a few years, but when he was pretty good. 6'4", he's only 32, 89 shot blocking, 89 stick checking. Yeah, you know what? Why not? Alec Regula, who doesn't want really like much at all. He'll sign that right away. 850K, bang. Alec, welcome aboard. Welcome to the Islanders. Leaving us still with $5 million in cap space. There's our 7th D, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, we need a few AHL forwards, but that should be everything. So I'll sign some AHL forwards. Actually, I'll do that off screen. What I will show you now is the draft class. And even though last year's class was medium, it felt like a high draft class. So we'll say this year is 1 to 30 will be low, and we randomize the number from 1 to 100. 31 to 85 will be medium, and then 86 to 100 will be high. So if I randomize a number for draft class quality, I get 48. So draft class quality will remain at medium, while the generated prospect quality will be low, very low. Well, low is low, as we get a 5. So after a couple, maybe 2 or 3 years of a medium class, last year felt like a high class. It will now be a medium-low class. Still not bad, but a medium-low class for the 2034 draft next season. So I'm going to sign a few random guys for the AHL. Everything's been set. We're good to go. We'll sim through the rest of the offseason and get ourselves ready for the year number 10 preseason. Preseason already. Let's edit those lines and see what kind of overall growth, if any, we had over the offseason. Resting on that beach, did that do well for us? Bo Horvat down to an 88 with the top 9 potential. Okay, from 89 to 88. Besser 87 to 86, Barzal 86 to 85, Martone was 91 down to 90, now back to 91, that's good. Nothing else looking like it changed there. Defense, nothing there either. Hornqvist was 84 down to 82, now back to 83. And Loktionov maintained 87, Augustine 83. Yeah, nothing really major at all actually. I don't see any big changes. A few guys we signed from the AHL, for the AHL, Marchman 75 to 77. That might be it. Platt there. Okay. And for the goaltenders, Ackerman now at 78. And Riley Stepan did grow. Finally, Riley Stepan from 71 to 72, now 72 to 76. And Ackerman, 78, ready for the NHL sooner rather than later. So I'll make some changes to the lineup and the call-ups and all that, and then we'll see what we're dealing with to begin year number 10. All right, so here's how we might be looking to begin year number 10 here on Long Island. Yzerman, Horvat, and Martone on the first line with a +5. Besser, Kapanen, Keevan, second line +1. Third line, Alexeev, Hakana, Barzal, no chemistry. And fourth line, here's the tough one, Summers, Nazarov, and Pricing. So Pricing can stay there, no problem. But Nazarov, again, he's not a centerman, and he's a sniper. 70 faceoffs in that position. And Brock Summers, also a sniper. So do we want two snipers with a power forward on that fourth line? Or do we put Nazarov on the wing, we bring in Soderblom as fourth line center, and Summers goes back down to the AHL where he could play first line minutes and bump down, I don't know, Platt or Marchment. The top six has a spot for him, but the first line, we want to grow all those guys. Anyways, those are the potential questions right now. The fourth line, the biggest question. The top nine, we can mix and match. Summers there. On defense, same as always, Dupont, Yurchek, top pair +2. Maybe we try Engqvist with Hornqvist on the second pair, and Sandin plays with Bates on the third pair. I also wonder, no overall changes over the offseason, really. I wonder once we advance a couple days if some of those offseason focuses will kick in, because I sent out a lot of them. I also want to try asking Bates to change to a right D. And goaltending, Loktionov 87, Augustine 83. 7th defenseman, Regula. Third goalie, Riley Stepan. And 13th forward, Elmer Soderblom at this moment in time. So that's how things are looking. The captaincies don't change, correct? We have Horvat captain, alternates Barzal and Yzerman. I'd be tempted to strip Yzerman and give it to Martone after Yzerman's horrible performance in the postseason and Martone's team-friendly contract in the offseason. Nazarov wears number 3. Okay. Now, here we are at the beginning of the offseason. I'm going to advance just one day because I'm curious to see if some of those offseason growths will kick in. And yes, they do. Yes, they do. Lovely. So we see Besser back up from an 86 to an 87. I'm not sure if it's because of the skating offseason focus or what. Barzal back up from 85 to 86. Alexeyev back up from 85 to 86. Good. Okay. And on defense, all the same. Goaltending, all the same. Okay. So it's just those two players. So both Alexeyev and Barzal up from 85 to 86. So our questions moving into next episode, which will be the entirety of year number 10, the season and the postseason, so things will roll along a lot more quickly. We can start thinking about extensions for next episode. Horvat, we could wait. Besser, Barzal will wait. Sandin, question marks. Engqvist, question mark. And I even forgot about Loktionov, who's going to need a contract. Even Augustine. So Loktionov, 87 overall. Yeah, right. Like he'd be getting 7 by 13. I'm happy to pay a goalie a lot of money if he continues to perform. So we'll see how Loktionov performs. If he gets another 10 shutout season, we'll have to think about it. But we're definitely not paying him money like that. Trey Augustine, maybe he's back to our full-time starter if Loktionov walks for $14 million. He wants, 3 by 2. Yeah, we can definitely do it. I'd probably just sign that right now. Why wait? 3, could we even 5 years? No, it goes into 4.8. So 3 years. But if we go down, it says he wants 2.15, but will his interest plummet when we give him the actual number he's looking for? Yeah, so we have to go more like 3 years at 2.5, which is, I could do that, 3 years at 2.5. I'm going to send that right here, right now. We could add some clauses, modified no trade. Yeah, we can give it to him. He's been a big piece of our team. 24 team no trade. And we'll bring it down to 2.35. No, 2.5, let's be honest. He's been a big piece. Maybe he's moving into a backup role more permanently if Loktionov takes the crease. 2.5 is okay. To bring him down to 2.25 or something is not needed. So we'll put a little less security. We'll make it a 20-team no trade instead of a 24-team no trade. And we'll keep it like that. 3 years at 2.5 on Augustine. He'll think about that. But Stepan, Loktionov, they'll need contracts. Stepan is looking for, nice and easy. League minimum, no problem. And for the unsigned players, do we want to give Douglas a contract right now? Breland's up from a 74 to a 76. That's great. Another year overseas for him. Douglas at an 81. What do we do there? And then I suppose finally, any trade thoughts, not for right now potentially, but guys you might want to keep an eye on towards the trade deadline, since next episode will include all of that. So skaters on the block, Mason McTavish, Jordan Kyrou, we could get him but not McTavish, on the block over in Anaheim. Boston, Ogren, Cagnoni, a few other names there. Always feel free to ask more questions about any other player that you want to know more about. Canone, who just got drafted, already on the block in Buffalo. They keep putting all their prospects on the block every year. Doan, Simashev, Nick Robertson, Zary, a few names there in Calgary, Lundstrom, Frederick in Carolina, Chicago, Colorado, some prospects that are flying by, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Edmonton, Cam York, Florida, LA, Eli Tolvanen, Data 782 Hall of Famer, Cotter, Minnesota, Montreal, Nashville, some prospects there, New Jersey, Akil Thomas, Ty Dellandrea, etc. Joshua Roy in New York, Bemstrom, Beecher, Cates, Ottawa, Philadelphia, Troy Terry, not interested, Ryan Lindgren, yes, would be open. Pittsburgh, San Jose, Seattle, St. Louis. Look at this guy, 76-21. Boudens. Who's this? Yahir Boudens, medium elite. 9th overall pick, a sniper in 2030. Hasn't been developing super well with the Blues system. 25 points. Had some decent ice time. I'm surprised, eh? But they have him on the block. That could be a target for us, but that's a lot of trade value. Tampa Bay, Toronto, Utah, Sergachev, not open to coming though, Dante Fabro, Vancouver, Vegas, few names there, Washington, Winnipeg. And for the trade value on our end, if we're looking at what we have available to us, here you have it as I scroll down the list, if you're interested in knowing the trade values of anybody on the team. And then, of course, remember the draft pick situation, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 2 5ths, and a 6th for the upcoming draft class. All right, so I believe that just about does it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching the 2034 off-season, including a very exciting draft. We restocked the shelves a little bit. We're ready for business, moving into the next chapter of our franchise. Still hanging on to our veterans, but who knows when they're going to retire or take a big step back in regression. Let's try and do as well as we can for as long as we can. If they show us that they are taking a step back and Alexeyev and Hakanna do get that more ice time, then so be it. But if they can keep simulating like Hall of Famers, then let's chase one more cup for our 10th season before we do the full years in one episode for years 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then from there, live streams or whatever else as we get closer and closer to wrapping up this series. So thanks again for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell to be notified when videos and live streams come your way. Our Hockey Legacy Manager series with the Senators, our MLB The Show series with the Blue Jays, a lot to be excited about here on the channel. Also, leave your thoughts on any season goals you might have. Yeah, that's one last thing we could talk about. All right, so thanks again for watching. Looking forward to an exciting year 10 to come in 2033-34. The entirety in one episode, so get your popcorn ready. Leave your predictions in the comments down below or in the Discord server linked in the description. And I look forward to seeing you then.